Hi, I'm Pip Waller and this is Being Human, where I talk about various things to do with being a person, alive in a body, with a mind, with feelings, with an energy or spirit. And today I'm going to talk about dopamine. Now, you've probably heard of dopamine. Dopamine's a neurotransmitter. What does that mean? A neurotransmitter is a tiny, tiny, tiny little chemical made of amino acids. That's like, you could say, like a micro. It's not big enough to be called a protein, so it's called a peptide. And it's made by the neurotransmitters are made by the brain cells so that they can communicate one to another. Because messages go along a nerve cell like in an electrical way, working with electrolytes to make an electric very fast movement. But when you get to the end of one cell and it's about to communicate with other cells, nerve cells, what happens is a neurotransmitter is released out of the cell into the space between that nerve and the next one. That's the synaptic space. And then that chemical, that neurotransmitter, binds onto receptors, little places on the next cells that are able to receive that particular chemical, and that sends the message along. So dopamine is one of these neurotransmitters. And dopamine is responsible in the brain for a lot of things that end up, if we haven't got enough of it, we end up feeling quite depressed. We can't cope with stress so well. We might be fatigued, actually, sort of tired and not quite have enough energy to do what we want to do. We'll be forgetful and find it difficult to concentrate and perhaps difficult to get things going, just difficult to get on with life, difficult to be motivated. We could also have mood swings, and we might have a low sex drive and even some problems with digestion. This is a kind of low dopamine levels that might exist in a, I'm going to say, an otherwise healthy person. I'm not talking about the extreme low dopamine, which is seen in the very serious and nasty disease Parkinson's, where you get a lot of muscle tremor and you just can't really control your body anymore in the same way. But it is a great example, the neurotransmitters, of this interface between the body and the mind and the feelings, because we're talking about a chemical that's low in the brain, but that creates situations with how we feel and how we think. And this is a two-way street, because some of the ways that we can actually increase that chemical in the brain, enhance our dopamine levels, some of those ways are by changing some of our activities. Changing what we do can then increase our levels of dopamine. Of course, that's what's of interest to us at Being Human. How can we actually help? So there's a whole range of activities, things to eat, things to do, changes to make in your life that will increase your dopamine and make you feel better, therefore. So top of the list has to be exercise. And any kind of exercise will do. Half an hour to an hour every day is what you're aiming for, or at least 5-6 days a week. And, if you don't like going to the gym or any particular sport, then put some music on, dance around the house, really get yourself going. You've got to try. If you haven't found the right kind of exercise for you, you've got to try everything. Just go and try everything till you find something that works. And don't be looking for a quick fix, because you don't get the high dopamine levels like right away. What happens is that over time, so like within a month, 6 weeks of you starting to do daily regular exercise, you are going to feel much better in your mood. Your dopamine levels will be up. So the stress is the enemy of dopamine. So it's interesting, isn't it? As we've got low dopamine, we've got less ability to handle stress, but actually high levels of stress lower our levels of dopamine. It's another one of those ways that everything's woven in, and there's a sort of vicious circle or chicken and egg situation in the body. So do what you can to minimize stress. Now, I'm not saying that in a glib way. Sometimes we just really, changing our lives is impossible sometimes, or at least when we're stressed, it always feels impossible. And sometimes people are genuinely in situations you absolutely can't change them, and it's really stressful. So what we have to do then is change the way we handle stress. And one of the great things you can do is practice switching on your parasympathetic nervous system by using those vagus nerve turn-ons. That there's a previous video on my site, and many other people talk about this. So get your vagus nerve stimulated, switch on your parasympathetic nervous system and reduce stress, and that will increase your dopamine levels. Being creative is a fantastic and fun way to increase dopamine. Actually, the creative process, any kind of creative process, actually raises the dopamine levels in the brain. So that might be, for some people, it will be cooking, it might be writing, drawing, painting, making little craft things, making clothes, dancing, I don't know, just something that expresses your creative oomph. It doesn't matter. You need to let go of the idea that you should have to, no point creating things unless it's going to be, on show, or no point being an artist, making art unless you're an artist. All of us need to be creating all the time, and it increases our dopamine levels in a nice way. Meditation is a great one. Now, there's many ways to meditate, but it's absolutely known that it has so many benefits for health now. Really, just get on with it. And if you do start to meditate, again, you don't necessarily notice the results straight away, but pretty soon you'll get an improved mood. So you could try mindfulness, you could try just, sitting, watching your breathing, paying attention to your body. You could try mantra meditation. You could try visualization, whatever you like. If you look on my website, pipwaller.co.uk, there's some podcasts you can listen to, so some guided meditations, visualizations you might like. Or you might like the Mind Egg meditation, which is on this YouTube channel, some videos earlier. That's a great one. That's enough, a daily meditation, 5-10 minutes like that every day, sorted. You'll have the increased dopamine. Let me think. Getting enough sleep is really important. If you don't get enough sleep, your cortisol levels go up. If your cortisol levels go up, your dopamine levels go down. So that's kind of related to the whole stress thing as well. So 8 hours a night, that's your ideal. Now, dopamine likes the successful completion of a simple task. So if you've got loads of stuff to do, write a list of your daily to-do list and literally tick off. When you make that tick, you'll get a dopamine increase. This is similar to what happens and what gets us hooked into addictions. And I'll talk about that in the next video, about how dopamine is involved with addictions. But it's kind of, we can sort of use that a little bit in getting ourselves motivated, because actually having good motivation in our life, setting up regular habits and going for it and, ticking so that we notice we're doing it, that all increases the dopamine. Then there's some food and mineral vitamin things we can do. So actually it's really good to maximize your vitamins and minerals. So you can do that. You can have smoothies, juices, maybe take a supplement. If you know that you've been depleted for a while. Particularly magnesium could be low if you've got low dopamine. And magnesium is one of those minerals that's really chewed up by stress. So if you know you've had long-term stress, you might be worth taking some extra magnesium in. Make sure you get food state minerals and vitamins. If you're not sure where to get them from, contact me and I'll let you know a good source. Decrease caffeine and sugar. I mean, of course, you'd be aiming to do that anyway, because these things are not healthy and they mess us up and create more stress. But they also end up decreasing our dopamine levels. Dopamine's involved in the insulin mechanism of the pancreas. So low dopamine, has an effect on that. So anyway, get the sugar down and get the caffeine down. And then you can introduce more foods that contain the amino acid tyrosine, which is the body uses to make dopamine. So tyrosine is found in almonds, avocados, bananas, in eggs, and if you're not vegetarian, you can also get it from fish and chicken. Let me have one more little think. Did I already say about listening to music? I don't think I did. If I did, I'm saying it again. Put some music on and listen to it, because listening to music raises your dopamine. It's probably the kind of music that makes you feel good. Maybe not trash metal, unless that actually makes you happy, but nice music that makes you feel good, that increases your dopamine. Okay, so thank you for listening. I'm Pip Waller. This is Being Human. If you like the way I'm talking about these things, there's going to be a lot more. Click the subscribe button below and you'll be informed, and I'll get more people subscribing, which is my goal. Thank you very much.